Hello again, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of the PSM podcast. My name is Christian Tejares, and I'll be your host for today. With me are my co-hosts, Christopher the Non-Stopper, the king of the ring conversation, Joe Bill Banter. He believes freedom is another word for nothing left to lose. The great Christopher Short. How are you, Chris?
What's up? What's up? I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah, and for the first time, joining us is the exalted emperor of the Empire of Eccentricities, host of the Intrepid podcast, Mr. Ian Rignon. How are you, Ian?
I'm good. I'm so good to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And yeah, let's start right away regarding the first topic, which I figured everyone in this panel actually knows this. The great James Earl Jones actually passed away last
Mm.
week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
I,
voice of Darth Vader.
yeah, he's pretty much been the voice of every father figure we've had since our childhood. I
Yeah.
guess not so much
Oh
Darth
yeah.
Vader. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
if your if your
Yeah,
dad
but
is Darth Vader, you have to seek therapy. Like
yeah.
if that's your role model.
yeah, of course. But I guess the most iconic father voice that he did is Darth Vader.
Well, you have
Yeah,
Mufasa.
Mufasa and uh, probably something that's most memorable to me because I think this is the first film that I actually watched as a kid that's African American led, which is Coming to America.
Yeah, he played the king.
King Joffrey,
Oh gosh, I don't remember.
the nice King Joffrey. So
Yeah.
And I also remember his cameo on The Hunt for Red October. He
yeah,
played as
he
an
was
admiral.
there.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
played as an admiral. And
like
he has this very badass line said that which goes, "Now understand, Commander, that torpedo did not explode. It hit the hull, and I was never here."
wow. We've done a tribute article on it on the Paper Straw media website, and doing research for that, I was actually surprised that his first movie was actually Doctor Strangelove. He was the
Oh,
pilot there at the very finale, at the very end, the climax. He
the
was the one
one of the
doing
pilots in the B-52.
yeah, before the bomb was actually dropped, he was doing the setup for it.
Wow.
Wow,
So
I never knew. I
right
never knew because
before, who was the cowboy there? It was the actor Slim Pickens, right?
I've never seen this movie.
You've never
I
seen
only
Doctor
seen
Strange?
snippets of it, especially the one that where the main character rides the bomb to the target, and he was like cowboy
Yes,
yelling
the actor there
just
was
with his
actually
hat.
named Slim
Yeah,
Pickens. So he was King Kong. Major King Kong was actually the cowboy.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was strange, no pun intended. That was his first movie, and ever since we've known him to be this father figure. But back in the 60s, I guess he was picking up more roles regarding the military.
Right. Well, he was in the military.
Yeah, he was. I think it
Yeah,
was the Korean War
Yeah, but he
that he
served,
yeah.
I
was
think, in Germany, maybe. Not, I don't think he was served in Korea, but he was active during that time.
active in what was
Uh,
his rank? I
James
think he
Earl
reached
Jones,
Navy.
right?
Mm,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he served in the U.S. Army if I remember well.
yeah. Yep. Another thing that I don't know how many people know this. Um, but for CNN, that was iconic. Like it was the not
Yeah,
really a commercial.
the logo,
Well, he was the
CNN logo.
voice. He was the voice. He was this is CNN.
You're watching
Oh,
CNN.
it's him.
That's him, yeah. Or you're
Oh,
watching whatever it was. Yeah, it was he was the voice of the CNN promo. Or is
so
it you're watching? Is that what it is? You're watching CNN.
it's him.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. He was yeah, I didn't know he was the voice of CNN. Like he's but these things happen, right? Like we hear about like you hear about these guys, right? That do like or you hear these things. Sorry, I'm having a hard time gathering my thoughts. You hear these things like every day, right? You hear something, and a lot of times we don't even know that like these things were done by like
Famous actors, right?
yeah, right, like you didn't,
Celebrities.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
in a
also want
sense, he's been in a lot of things that I think a majority of the people don't even actually know. Like,
right,
even I was actually surprised that he was actually his career actually spanned that way back.
oh
And
yeah.
in a film that's highly regarded that I didn't know he was in.
It's not just highly regarded. It's also Doctor Strangelove is also a cult classic,
Yeah.
if I'm not
So
mistaken.
it's just it's such a shame that it took for him actually passing away for me personally to actually know, because for my generation he's been the voice of fatherhood for quite some time, because growing up there are very few, as particularly growing up as a Filipino, there are a few uh people that I identify with as a father figure that time, aside from my very own. Like for me there's Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
right,
And
yeah,
As well as growing up with the Disney films with Mufasa. So
yeah, rest in peace to James Earl Jones.
yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah,
one
James
last
Earl
thing that
Jones.
I discover about James Earl Jones is that he actually converted to Catholicism. So
From
I'm not sure from, but he is Catholic. I think he's a Catholic. I've just discovered that as well. So probably the funeral will be a Catholic funeral. That's that.
oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
I too am surprised. Yeah.
yeah, spinning off from that regarding his passing and me actually being able to dive into his filmography and discovering some stuff, it opens up actually a discussion for something that I've been noticing for quite some time now. Like, movies evolved with African American inclusion, particularly classics that we might call. Right now, there's been a trend that it's being judged by the standards of the day. Like, Terry Crews has been on Bill Maher discussing this, and he made a very good point regarding, if we take the example of Gone with the Wind, and
hmm,
there are tones of slavery in there, right? We can't deny it. It was made of its time. But if you take into consideration how hard it would have been for an African American actor to break into Hollywood, you can actually discount that fact that the people you're seeing on screen are the excellent actors of that community. But the performances that they've actually given can actually be discounted. And what I feel is that judging them by the standards of today makes it more like, rather than celebrating them, you're actually passing pity.
Yeah. I think it's a bit tokenist, I guess. I think that's the definition of tokenism in during those times.
Yeah,
right,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, we live in a different world. You know what I mean? Compared to, you know, fuck, it's 2024. So we live in a different world compared to 10 years ago, especially with social media. But other than that, like just when you go back to, like you said, Gone with the Wind, when was that? Was that like that was like the 50s or something?
yeah, the 50s.
1930s, Chris.
Was it the
1930s.
30s?
30s. Yeah,
Yeah.
30. Sorry, 30s.
Well, yeah, well, that's 100 years ago, right?
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah. Now imagine,
Think about it.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
now imagine how the world's going to be 100 years from now. You know, I heard an interesting thing where how language evolves, right? So if we went back, let's say we went back 200 years to, let's say, England, right? For, all intents and purposes, we probably would have a difficult time understanding what they were saying. Not because it would be a different language, but just the way that they would say it. You know what I mean? Like the way the old was spelled with an E, like these type things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
something
mean?
like that. And some of the archaic terms that
Mm,
uh we somehow don't understand anymore
right,
unless we research more about it. You
right.
know,
And imagine saying to someone from, let's say, imagine saying to someone from 1980 that you are going to stream a podcast about Bitcoin.
What is Bitcoin?
But what is stream? What is podcast?
What is
what is
podcast?
Bitcoin?
Yeah, what is the alt? Yeah, they would have no idea. And that's just within our lifetime.
My main issue for this one is instead of just seeing the talent, you just saw the skin. And I thought we were actually making progress here. Like what are we on regarding this?
There's
Like
no progress. Actually,
if you're gonna be judging everything you did in the past to your standards now, you're fucked.
well, there is
Yeah,
Like
no progress. We have, I feel like we progressed almost as far as possible, and now there's a sense of regression because now,
it's overcompensation, I think, at this point.
well, now
yeah.
some colleges are like, we want black and white dorms separated. So we're going
Well,
back to segregation,
Oh my.
right? That's not progress. By definition, that is regress. We've already done that.
Martin Luther King
Yeah.
would roll on his grave on that with that kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I guess I just hope people actually wake up in this part and just smell the roses. Like we've gone a long way. Like me as a minority telling this on camera,
mm,
like Jesus Christ, just take notice of the progress that's been happening. The very fact that your country is actually having women actually vote is actually a big thing,
bro. I
which
mean,
the US has been slow on.
we have this is two times in the last 4, 8, 12 years that a female has been front runner for president.
Yeah, and
Oh
it
yeah.
hasn't been so long since the female vote has been validated. If you think
Exactly.
about it,
Yeah.
it hasn't been a century.
Hasn't
Yeah.
been long at all.
And
So
come to think of it, the Philippines already has two female presidents.
Yeah. Most countries in the
Corazon,
world have had
yeah,
a woman in the most powerful position.
yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
I feel like the US being slow on some things, them delving back into the past and trying to justify it now, is just asinine.
Yeah. Well, that's
And
kind of
this
the
is coming
issue.
from a
Is
minority.
yeah.
Like don't like stop thinking about us. Think about you.
think about yourselves.
Like we're fine.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think African American communities can say there is still some issues regarding races in the U.S. We're not blind to that, but
Right, of
please
course,
don't be
yeah.
blind regarding progress.
yeah.
It's not as
Like,
rampant as people
whoa,
make it out to be. It's not. It's just not. Racism is everywhere and it goes every which way. Right? Like it just does. It just does. It's human nature to judge and maybe go as far as even fear that which is not like us. You know what I mean? Like it's just a very natural thing. If you take a group of
Kendrick Lamar.
if you take a group of 4 5-foot flat guys and you stick in a 7-foot tall guy, they're gonna fuck with
That
him.
yeah.
They
The
just are.
7 foot guy would stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
they're probably gonna make fun.
that's basically what happened with Damien Daniel. I'm not sure of the name, but IShowSpeed, the guy who just visited Manila, and I think as of this show, he's already in Vietnam. It's part of his Southeast Asian tour,
Mhm.
and so far, not really so far, though, during his visit in Manila, I think it just showed how in our case as Filipinos, we have a lot to learn too. I show speed, aka Darren Jason Watkins Jr. I think you know this guy. He's a game streamer and you know, your ordinary internet guy who got famous for streaming and all that, and also for content creation and all that stuff. He is currently on a Southeast Asian tour. He just got to Manila last week, and as of this podcast, he's already in Vietnam. So that's that. And during the time that Speed is here, uh, somehow the best and worst of Filipino hospitality, the best and worst of Filipino hospitality has been has been showcased. I mean, uh there's this Chinese Filipino food called siopao. I think
Okay.
you guys know that. Christian would know that obviously. And for some reason, I think he visited Binondo or Tondo for this one.
Mhm.
And the crowd jokingly said, "That's meow meow,"
Yeah.
pertaining to Siopao and pertaining to Siopao and um you know uh
They're
perceiving
not
that the meat
they're
used
not
there
helping the
is
stereotype
cats.
because they're not
Yeah,
helping the
stereotypes.
stereotype. Like
Yeah, I know.
this is what I
And
don't get.
I guess
Yeah, I don't mean
but
to interrupt you, but this is what I don't get about internet celebrities here in the Philippines. Like I remember who was it that interviewed Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
Mm.
from Team Payaman or something.
Kong TV?
Yeah, Kong doing
Was
the
it Kong
interview.
TV?
Yeah, a
Lincoln
lot of people.
Velasquez. A-
Yeah, and Kong was there, right? Like people have been praising
oh
that
yeah.
interview. I actually cringed at it because I
So do
feel
I.
that it never actually got the essence of what you're doing. And when it comes to a press junket, you were supposed to be there to actually
Mm.
help them promote the film, not promote your brand and not be a distraction. You're there
Mm.
to inform people about the film, and yet what you're doing, the antics you're showing, is just for you. I don't get why people act. Maybe it's because of the type of audience that he has. This is why
Perhaps.
I never got to enjoy any interview by, no offense to our countrymen, but it's a majority of you guys when it comes to these foreigners. Like the only best ones that I've actually seen was actually Bogart. He done everything right.
Yeah, Bogart the
He
Explorer
remained
from
true
Davao City.
he
The
remained true to his
legendary Bogart the
character.
Explorer.
Yeah, he remained true to his character, respecting the heritage of who he's actually interviewing, and actually going to the point of actually marketing the movie, which he's actually there to do. Like
Mm.
I don't know how
And
self-centered you can be to actually think that it's about you when you have Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman in front of you.
Huge,
So
huge stars.
that's my
very,
rant regarding
very
this.
bloody huge.
Yeah.
That's just my rant regarding this. I don't get that part on why we think we can go to these interviews and think it's about us.
Yeah,
That's it.
I do agree with you, Christian. It's really it really is also it's also cringy on my end because all of us here are more on the international stuff and not the local stuff, and it's just cringy that Velasquez and another guy from Team Payaman is doing all that and they're selling out. That's a bit of a
Who was the
that's a bit
guy
of a
with him?
shame.
Who was the guy with
I'm not
him?
sure.
He
I'm not sure.
he's the one who's feeling much more uncomfortable in that situation. If you look at his
I
facial
think
expressions.
yeah, Kong himself is a bit of a chill guy. Because he's my age, so a bit of a chill guy. But everyone else in his content creation team is a bit cringy. His brother and brother-in-law, Junie Boy and Boss King, are cringy at this point because they have been into online gambling and all that shit. And then back to IShowSpeed or the Speed for that matter, he also visited or he also uh had an encounter with Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I seen that. Yeah.
he played
Well,
chess.
if I can chime in on the cringe factor that y'all are talking about before we move on. As an outsider looking in, something that I've noticed, and maybe you guys can tell me if you agree or if I'm off base here, but I feel like in the US, if I am interacting with someone, especially someone new that I've never met before, right? Let alone it be a celebrity or whatever. You know, let's say someone new, let's say your sister brings home her boyfriend, right? A new boyfriend, right? From what I've seen in the Philippines, the jokes that would be made toward the new boyfriend is for everyone else to laugh at.
Yeah. I never
Right?
got that part of
Whereas
it.
we would, or I personally, my jokes would be to make him laugh. Right? I want to do things that he's familiar with, or you know what I mean, to make him feel comfortable. Where I feel like here it's more a performance for the audience than it is to actually have a genuine interaction with the person that is.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
more like
Yeah.
sneak dissing someone.
Spot on.
It is. It is very condescending, and I have been, especially once I learned the language, and then I meet new people, and they make these silly little jokes so that their friends laugh, but it's at my expense. I do get irritated because it's like, first off, bro, shit's not funny. Second off, I'm not your, I'm not your new material. Like we can interact and on the same level, but I'm not going to be your muse or whatever. But it does I feel like that's kind of like what you guys are talking about with the guy
Yeah.
that was interviewing international superstars,
Yeah.
and he's playing up to his audience. Like, no, interact with those gentlemen. They're doing you a
Yeah.
favor, bro. They don't have to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The marketing department for that film actually spent money to actually promote the film and invited you guys to actually help out. Like they're giving you content at their expense.
Yeah. It's
So
just like when we were doing those Tech Times exclusives. Like I was always so grateful to those top people to take time. And I know they were great. They felt, it was a give and take, right? But that's kind of how it is, You don't invite somebody and then exclude them via your local humor. Like this is when you need to elevate yourself
yeah.
and meet people eye to eye, or at least, eye to nipple, depending on the.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Ian, we hijacked your topic. So
Not bad. Not bad. Not a bad pun, Chris. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I'm sorry, Ian, we hijacked your topic. You can continue.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. Actually, I actually resonate with you guys because I actually resonate with you guys because uh as someone who has been into all of the international stuff, I really don't see why my fellow countrymen are like this. And that's the reason why I'm on YouTube in the first place. My channel, just
Yeah.
to market myself. Sorry if
Plug it.
I'm selling out. Sorry
Plug
about
it.
that.
Plug it, brother. Plug it.
But I have a YouTube channel called Intrepid Ian Riñon. And the reason why I started it in the first place is because I wanted to make a different perspective or a different Filipino perspective, not only for my fellow countrymen, but also for other people. And that's the reason why I mostly communicate on that channel in English. Because
That's
if
very
I
admirable.
communicate if I communicate in Tagalog, no one would understand it. It's
Yeah,
hard work to
it's a
translate
pretty
or to make
it's a pretty
subtitles.
risky it's a pretty risky venture because you would be isolating, I guess, Filipinos that aren't actually comfortable reading with or listening to podcasts in English. That's what me and Chris actually discussed a long time ago. Why we are actually doing this in this language. Like we do
Yeah.
want people to actually understand whether you are in the US, in the Philippines, or in any part of the world.
Mm.
Like that's a huge gamble. But then again, if your
Yeah,
goal is just actually voicing opinions, then putting yourself out there and giving the perspective of your country that a lot of other people around the world
I
wouldn't actually
appreciate that.
understand, English is actually the go-to,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm completely behind what you have going on. Because I think there is a ignorant misconception. Um, you know, usually when someone my age now, mind you, I've been here for 10 years, so I didn't really fall into this category. But when a man 40 plus comes to the Philippines, there's a general consensus as to why he's there,
For the
right?
food,
And while it may be true on in some cases, of course it is, right? Like, you can't get, you know, you're a
Yeah.
55-year-old out of shape white man. You're not going to get a 20-year-old girl in the United States. It's just not going to happen. You can hear she's not going to love you for any other reason than that you have money, but some guys don't care, right? And that is maybe she does love you, right? It's not fair to generalize, but that's just one misconception, right? And it's just not true. And that's the tip of the iceberg with the misconceptions, like and I'll just lay them out here. I hope no one gets offended. Uh People not it's never been here, right? Like I said, it's a stereotype, it's a misconception. So it's just what they think with little to no information to back it up. People can't be trusted here because it's all about they'll just take your money. Yes, in Tondo, maybe be super careful, right? Or in these
Yeah.
super touristy areas, you have to be careful, but you also have to be careful in New York City. You know what I'm saying? It's not a
Chicago,
specific cultural thing. This is
Chicago.
a
Just put
human
ketchup in
thing.
your hot dog, you'd be shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the people can't be trusted. The girls are gold diggers. Uh, anchor babies. Anchor babies are a thing. Which I kind of agree with that one. Girls be wanting to get pregnant for no reason. Shit don't make no sense. Uh, but yeah, so I appreciate what you're doing, man. That you can step out and say, because my brother-in-law came, and not that he had misconceptions, he did think that like horses and things were still here. I guess like people rode horses and stuff.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, there are still horses here, but not as
Right,
much as I
right.
guess in or you
Yeah.
know.
So
Does
we
he still
were
think that the Flintstones still live here?
we were driving through McKinley,
Yeah,
and he was like, "Oh my God, that's a Porsche. Oh my God, that's a Ferrari. Oh my God, that's a
yeah,
Lamborghini." It's like, yeah, bro. Yeah, this is not like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? This is not the Flintstones. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
So what you're
I
doing, I
still
agree
am.
with, and I support what you're doing, Ian. Get the word out, man.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Chris. I really appreciate that. And you know what? Even though I still am fascinated with those kind of cars, I was in hindsight, I was just thinking, are these people just showing off?
It is showing off.
Well,
Like, why would
treat
you even
yourself the way
have
I see
that?
it.
Like,
Yeah.
The way I see it as treating myself. Sometimes I go for pizza. Sometimes I want a Lamborghini. You know
like,
what I mean? Like,
even if you question the person actually deserves that kind of luxury or not, he can't actually flaunt it.
well,
Like, there's no point in having a Ferrari if it's in the garage, right?
right.
Yeah.
So
And if it were
you could
me,
be proud.
I would do luxury, but I'm more of like an Audi, like an Audi A4 maybe.
Mhm.
Like it's not super like, oh shit, like you see it from a mile away, but that is comfortable, and that thing will scoot right out from under you if you're not careful.
So let's go back to the IShowSpeed stuff. I find it fascinating that
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
came here to the
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Philippines. What was his impression regarding it? Because I've watched Sprinkle's content regarding it, but I haven't thoroughly invested my time because it's IShowSpeed. Like, who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of out of our it's a little generational gap
It's
going
not
on there.
even. It's not
Even
even.
even
No
myself,
diss on him.
because even
Yeah,
myself, I understand this guy's younger than me. That's for sure. This
He's a
guy's
baby.
younger than me. And uh I really don't know why does he want to have this Southeast Asian tour?
Yeah,
Because it just so happens, I don't know if this is coincidence or not, or this was deliberate, that Speed had 100,000 subscribers on YouTube when he got to Manila.
Mm.
So uh I
does he
am
want
not sure
to
if that's
does he
I'm
want
not
to
sure if
recreate the
that's
magic?
Well,
A lot of
I think it is.
YouTubers
I
actually
think it.
started in Manila. Like if you think about it, a lot of the successful expats, YouTubers started with content from the Philippines. Even those in the US that have reaction channels reacting to Wish Buses performance.
yeah,
Yeah, but he's not a YouTuber though. He's a Twitch
streamer.
streamer.
Yeah, Twitch streamer who just transitioned into YouTube to go do content creation and all those stupid stuff.
Yeah, well, I think I don't want to be wrong, but the number that's in my mind is like his subscriptions on Twitch as he was doing the IRL streams, like it jumped up like 200 something thousand,
Yeah,
265 is what I want to say, like in his
that's
first
the
24 hours in the Philippines.
that's the
Like
Filipino
that's
stimulus
why.
package. That's the Filipino
Yeah,
Holy
that's
stimulus
why
shit.
he's
package.
here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there's a business angle of it. Like, yeah, of course. Like, why wouldn't you want to like boost your shit? And also, why wouldn't you want to travel? Like,
Hmm.
if someone suggested this on his team, was like, what if we do a Southeast Asian tour? You'll get a bunch of subs and you'll get to run around and see things and be like 20-year-old me would have been like, well, 20-year-old me joined the army and went to Korea. You know what I mean?
That's
So
called the
it's just
tour.
like you only, yeah, just for the experience. So 20-year-old Speed was like, fuck yeah, let's go to Southeast Asia. What is there to lose? But I did see that he got catfished by a transgender. Did y'all see that one?
I have not I
Oh
haven't
yeah.
seen that, but that's fucked up.
Hold on. So they're at
He
the
went,
beach.
he went to Asia.
Hold
What
on,
does
they're
it?
at the beach. I don't think it's the Philippines. It might be the Philippines. I don't think so though.
Perhaps it's Thailand.
She was too
Perhaps it's
pretty.
Thailand.
She was too pretty.
Yeah.
No offense to the transgenders here in the
Yeah.
Philippines, but she was too pretty
Yeah.
to be a Filipino transgender. Y'all are very obviously for the most part. Other you
They
go
make it
out to
real.
like the east side a little more, they get a little more feminine out there. But she was like, he was on the beach or whatever, and she was like, you look really handsome. First off, in Southeast Asia, I can say if a girl initiates and says, you're handsome, probably a dude. Because girls don't really be doing that over here.
No.
You might get a look. You might get a look. She's not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Unless she's marketing, let's say.
Unless she's paid to actually do that. She's not gonna be
But
approaching.
then he was like, oh, you think, he's like, well, you look good too. He's like, I'm about to go in the city. You trying to go with me or something? And she was like, yeah, sure. So they're in the car and he's like on the chat and the chat's like, ask her gender. He's like, ask her gender. What do you mean ask her gender? He's like, what's your gender? He's like, transgender. And he was like,
Sometimes with these things, I don't even know if it's real or if it's scripted.
Oh
oh, this
yeah.
was real. This was real.
Especially in Thailand, because
Yeah, I
when it
mean,
comes to Southeast Asia and transgender, I mean the um you know
in
the
terms
ones
of
that I've
content,
observed,
it feels like it's too perfect for things like this to actually happen in a tour. It's like someone is actually seeking these things out. I don't think IShowSpeed is this unlucky of a person that a lot of these antics actually happen to him all at once. It just feels
Mhm.
so far a bit prepared, a bit too much
I don't know, man.
prepared.
His
Fabricated, I
reaction,
guess.
maybe. Who knows?
Fabricated even. Yeah.
I guess
Who knows?
prepared.
Maybe.
And the interaction is genuine, but I guess beforehand they would notice this person's transgender.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When I first came to the Philippines, my very first time, I was dating a girl, but I had known her. I know she's a girl. We had met in Korea and stuff. I know. But we would actually play a game. We would go to the bar, and or not just a bar, but like we'd be on like
Oh no.
anywhere, like in a taxi or whatever, and she would be like, I swear to God, this is true. She'd be like, boy or girl, and I'd be like, I don't know. And she taught me, like, you got to look at the hands, you got to look at the shoulders, you got to look at the feet. Like these
Yeah.
are the telltale signs because they'll have boobies and long hair and it'd be pretty. But I've lived here now for 10 years. I know now that, and no Diddy, but if they're too pretty, it's not a girl.
Yeah, apologies to the people
You
that
know,
Chris got wrong during that course of
yeah, but
education. Like,
yeah, but as they say, if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly.
does
Exactly.
your girl did your girl have a stencil regarding this? Is she following a blueprint, like a flow chart?
Yeah, because like the first time I seen like there was a group with this old white dude. There's a group of chicks. I was like, damn, he got a bunch. I didn't know any. I was so ignorant to this whole thing. And I was like, damn, he got a bunch of girls. She's like, those are all gay. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. And I was like looking, I was like, how? How do you know? And then it turned into a game later. She'd be like, boy or girl? And I'd be like, I think that's a girl. She's like, no. Like, dang. So it's possible that Speed and his crew had no idea.
Yeah,
Because
Ian.
some of them are very passable.
Yeah, Ian, from one Filipino to another. I think this is apropos to ask you. Like, do you think the Filipino stimulus package actually exists for content creation? If you're a
I
foreigner.
think so. Yes, I think so. Because uh come to think of it, we are a nation that has a lot of expatriates overseas. Not just in Southeast Asia, not just in Asia, but around the world. If I am not mistaken, one of the largest Filipino expatriate populations outside the Philippines is in the United States. I don't know if you can corroborate on this, Chris, but that's I think that's the obvious thing.
And on another note, why does Filipino podcasters particularly not do well in a sense?
Hmm, that's a very good question. I guess it's because um from where I see it, some of these Filipino podcasters, with all due respect to them, of course, uh, have some kind of I mean, casual. It's too casual. It's too casual that it doesn't have any sense. Everything that they say, um, most of it are nothing burgers. And I think to be fair to this podcast, we're talking about these things casually, but somehow we're trying to make sense of it all. So I'm definitely I'm definitely privileged. Or not really privileged, but I'm definitely I definitely appreciate that you added me in this podcast. It's really something that I would definitely remember for the rest of my life, of course. But you know, and
The first time you
yeah,
tasted
and
chocolate.
aside from you, Chris, I did have some someone, also an American, who has been in the Philippines for a long time, married a Filipina and all that. His name is Jared Gillette, aka Puting Pinoy. You guys know that guy?
Yeah.
Does he speak Messiah?
He also speaks
Yeah.
Bisaya. Yeah.
I think I do know him.
He speaks both Tagalog and Bisaya.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did talked about had a conversation with him, especially during the Doc Adams stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and it's such a shame that uh my countrymen, have been uh you know milking on foreigners who talk about the Philippines, but do not engage in an intellectual conversation on
Right.
Earth.
Yeah,
Right,
Especially in
exactly.
the
right.
especially in the
Yeah,
video format, right?
right.
Especially in the video format. In the comment section, yeah, I can definitely vouch for that, but not in the, not in the format that we
Hmm.
all are engaged with. You know, review or reaction or review or my perspective about this foreigner who visits the Philippines and all that shit. Very
Hmm.
rare. All of Filipino content creators who are like that are very rare.
Yeah, and I feel
Well,
like in terms of the culture here in the Philippines, I think the Philippines still hasn't removed itself from its John and Marsha era when it comes to content. Like, are you familiar with John and Marsha? Every content that
Yeah,
has been done by a Filipino is actually just situational comedy done to a modern time.
sitcom. Yeah.
mm,
I know of John and Marsha, especially because of Dolphy Quezon, aka
Yeah,
Dolphy. May he rest in peace. But yeah, I definitely think if Dolphy was still alive and still with us today, I guess he might have mellowed down his comedic stuff, and he might have been the wise old man who says, "Sure, it's fun to be funny, but you know, try to tone it
yeah.
down."
yeah. And in terms of appropriation, he's pretty much written the playbook on that
Hmm.
regarding gender
Mm,
appropriation, regarding playing gays. Like we have
Yeah.
someone active in the community right now in the Philippine film industry that is playing gay roles that hasn't been gay for a long time, which is Roderick Paulate. But the gay community
wait,
actually
Oh.
accepted him as so.
time
Oh.
out, time out, time out, time out. I have a question. Can
he
you go back and forth? Can you be gay and then I feel like once
he
you're
was
gay, you're always gay.
he's never been gay. He just takes on gay
Uh,
roles. That's the thing.
Yeah.
See,
uh,
since the 80s, he's been taking on gay roles and he's been typecast in that. But he never classified himself as gay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, I was led to believe that Roderick Paulate is gay,
No.
but I think he is not. I mean, off off camera, off screen, he's not. I really, I really think he's just stereotypical on that. But
He's just really good when it comes to his job. He does what's asked
yeah,
of him and he does it well.
yeah, and he's soft spoken, so maybe he was typecast that way, maybe. But yeah, it's a good. It's. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a relief, but um, it the the media industry in the Philippines is a bit deceiving, I guess.
Yeah, the mere fact that we can
You
actually
know.
do this in a podcast, but not actually do this in a network TV setting is an entirely different
mm,
story here in the Philippines.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I heard that they were actually coming for. When I say coming for, I mean the BIR, I guess, was coming for foreign vloggers in the Philippines, right? They're like, oh, y'all making too much money. We want some of that.
Oh yeah. I think I've
Yeah,
heard of
they
that too.
it's a little too late for them to actually do that now because they'd have to establish laws regarding it. Like writing a
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
colonial
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
Philippines
Yeah.
is like it takes longer than the life of a president. So
But by the time they got the law passed, blogging is not even a thing anymore, probably.
yeah, a new paradigm shift actually already happened by the time they actually got down to it. Like
Yeah.
it's the same thing could be said for every thing regarding the internet, since cybercrime law is just being adopted by a couple of countries, and it's been what more than 20 years since we have this thing on lock. Like having
Mm.
stable internet connection. It's just been two
Yeah.
decades.
Yeah. And most of the advancements uh happened the past 10.
Yeah,
Mm. Right. But I know we're running out of time, but so I'm not going to start a whole new topic. I wanted to go back to what Ian said about showing the best and the worst of the culture. Um, this isn't something that is universal, like, or this isn't something that's uh specifically happened here. I have a student, right? as most of the viewers know, like I also teach. And I have a student who recently told me about his trip to Los Angeles, or let's say California, because it was California, because two different things. But uh so I asked, of course, like how was your trip? And he said it was the greatest 2 weeks and also the scariest. So he was able to go see uh Shohei Ohtani, uh and he watched like a couple games. He got the bobblehead. Like he was very excited. And then they traveled into San Francisco and they were robbed at knife point.
Mm.
So, like,
Typical San Francisco.
I mean, we can go there if y'all want to. Thank you, Kamala Harris. But
I figured
but
you
yeah,
don't
so
like it.
like what's to like? It's like there's no substance whatsoever. But again, we're not going to get political today. Because we don't have enough time. No, uh, I'm over it. Really, I can't
We
even.
can make time if we want to. Like
Oh God, I don't want
it's
to.
just that we want to save it for the next episode for this one. But I will take you up on that for the next episode.
Oh Lord, you're gonna get me. Well, I don't have a career to get canceled from, but if I did in 50 years, like we were talking about earlier with the old movies and stuff, they'll find this clip like 50 years from now and be like, "Do you remember when he said this? You are no longer king of the world," or whatever my job may be at that time. I have high aspirations for 50 years from now. I'm hoping to be king of the world by the time I'm 90.
Like being judged by the standards of 2024 is a pretty low bar.
Yeah. But yeah, so like the best and worst type thing, like that shit happens, man. It's unfortunate that it was being streamed by one of the, if not the most famous streamer in the world. I don't know who's
I
bigger,
guess
IShowSpeed or
I
Kai.
think Ninja. Ninja is a larger streamer than Speed.
I don't know who Ninja is.
Ninja's falling off, I guess. I think
Oh, yeah.
Kai is much more prevalent.
See, I even don't know who the
Yeah.
largest streamer is.
Well, see, it's kind of not our generation though, these streamers. Like I don't watch streams.
I'm not paid enough to know who they are. So
I mean, I've never
Me neither.
I tried to watch Aiden Ross when he did like the Trump thing and he did another one.
RFK?
Yeah, he did another really big one too, but I tried. I can't. It's just streaming. I understand the appeal that it's live or whatever versus like recorded, published content. Like I get the draw,
yeah.
but I kind of, maybe it's because I am of this generation. I kind of prefer a polished product over raw materials. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely vouch for that as a millennial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
there you go. As a millennial,
you
yeah.
will
This
soon
Gen Alpha,
experience
Gen
that.
Z stuff.
You will soon experience that over the next couple of weeks once we start doing this live. Spoilers ahead. We'll be doing this live, I guess, by next week.
I
So
don't
for the
mind.
audience,
I don't mind being on this side live, but
you
I'm
don't
not.
mind.
No, I don't care. I'm good with being live. That's fine. But as far as me wanting to entertain my brain,
Yeah.
a live stream isn't really the way I would go. I watch a podcast, right? Or not a good movie, Don't really watch TV anymore. So I have graduated from that to streaming services and things, but Twitch and those things, I don't Kick. I think Kick is one. I don't get it.
Yeah,
It's just it doesn't appeal to me. And it's to no fault of the creators. It's
of
just for
course.
me,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
mine.
Hopefully what we do on Twitch actually appeals to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So we are
Basically,
encouraging you
those
guys
kind
to
of streams are not our cup of coffee.
Right.
yeah,
Tea,
Yeah.
it
whatever.
would be live and you guys could actually ask us questions or even insult us live and we will take it. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's get it. I'm ready. Yeah. I cut that scraggly ass beard off.
yeah, I noticed. Like, why?
Uh
You catching a flight or something?
No, I was tired of getting asked for utang. No,
Yeah,
like,
five,
no, I
six.
don't know. It just like I didn't shave for 7 months, maybe. I didn't cut my beard for like 7 months. And I guess I just kind of got tired of it, maybe over. I trimmed at first, it was like this long. No shit, it was like this.
Yeah.
It was
Oh
so
shoot.
it was so long that when I put when I put a shirt on, like my beard was still in my shirt. I'd have to do like one of these type things. I was like fucking Gandalf. And
Yeah.
then
Washing
I
your
kind of
head
trimmed it up.
must be a pain.
I trimmed it up and it was still like this long. And I was still kind of fucking with it. And then I just was like, you know, I'm just gonna trim it back down to like I used to have it. Just kind of keep it, not to mention, like I would finish eating and I would go to the bathroom and like look at it and I'd be like rice and be like, what the fuck is this rice?
Yeah, the struggles of having facial hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I remember, man, my grandpa had a long beard and stuff, but his mustache was really long too. And I always remember at like breakfast, I would see he would like drink milk, and I would always see he had like milk in his mustache, and I would think, can he not feel that? And no, you cannot feel it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, yeah, well, to all our audiences, whether you're male, female, what are your beard problems? So tell
yeah,
us in the comment section. And all kidding aside, thank you for joining us in this new format, PSM podcast. And we're happy to have Ian with us. Check him out
absolutely.
maybe daily, maybe every week. Who knows?
Not
But
necessarily every week. I would record things.
yeah,
Some of it are
check
yeah.
him out on his podcast, Intrepid, with Ian Riñon.
Intrepid
Uh,
Ian Riñon. That's the name of
Intrepid Ian
the
Riñon. And we will
channel.
be posting a link below, so check him out. Once again, thank you for joining us in this episode of the PSM podcast. Uh, my name is Christian Tijaras, and on behalf of my co-hosts, Christopher Short and Ian Riñon, we'll see you in the next.
Yeah.